Hey everyone, it's Shauna the Tax Goddess. I think I'm all pumped up because I ended up today, so Wednesdays is the day that Tax Goddess holds our 6% Life group coaching program. So I'm not here to promote, well, I mean, who doesn't promote their program? But listen, it's all based on the book, on the 6% Life. Okay, this is our group coaching program that relates specifically to tax reduction and tax reduction strategies. And I have to say, the reason why I'm filming right now, I am completely pumped up because today's live Q&A, we always do a live Q&A on the last Wednesday of every single month. And this week's live Q&A had some of the best questions. I'm so in love with being able to help people and educate people. And today was one of the ones with some of the best questions. And so I had to at least bring a couple of these top-notch questions here to you guys because there's a couple of videos that I've been wanting to film for you, and tax season and things just got busy, but you guys know I love teaching, I love educating, so I want to make sure that you guys get the value that you guys have some of these things. So side note, last time I mentioned it, if you're interested in the 6% Life, go check it out on our website, taxgoddess.com/6life, SIXLIFE. That'll get you there. That is our group coaching program. So let me just tell you some of these questions. So what steps can be taken to ensure you're utilizing all available tax credits and refunds? Okay. How might the IRS refund process affect your business cash flow, and how can you plan for it? What are the penalties for missing April 18th filing deadline, and how can those be minimized? Another really, really good one. This was a good one. I'm going to have to read it word by word here. Hold on. What strategies can be adopted to maintain good relations with revenue officers and ensure a smooth audit process? Guys, I'm in love with some of these questions. Okay. How can staying updated with the IRS announcements benefit your tax strategies? I love when our clients get involved in the tax strategy process. And I know, I think it's because I'm a giant tax nerd myself, right? That I'm excited when somebody else is excited. But guys, these are real live questions from real people, right? That they come to our 6% group, they get to ask these questions, and I get to answer them. One of the big ones today that came up, that somebody asked live off the cuff, was, listen, I've got a business. Shauna, I've been following your strategies. I've paid the kids. I've done my master's exemptions. I'm out of money, right? I made $80,000. I used $80,000 to go do the strategies. I mean, that's great. I kept the money in my own pocket, but now my business doesn't have any more cash in the business. How do I do the rest of the strategies? The defined benefit plan and the 831B plan, right? How do I do the rest of the strategies if my business doesn't have any money? And to me, sometimes I forget that to me, these are questions these are easy questions to me, but I've been doing it for 24 years, right? And I think the piece that just makes me so happy and proud and in love with what we get to do with Tax Goddess, that we get to educate, we get to help people here, is that I got to answer that question. For one of our clients, it was kind of freaking out. And what do I do now, Shauna? I want to do strategies, but my business doesn't have enough money. Great, no problem. Loan the money from you personally to the business, draw up a loan note, get some interest, get some payments, make sure you're doing everything, crossing those T's, dotting those I's. You guys know how I feel about that, right? You've got to make sure that these strategies, when you're implementing strategies, that you're doing all the steps, right? Because if you don't do steps, that's where we run into problems, okay? So, I wanted to answer just a couple of these questions for you guys because, tax strategy is my passion here. So let's look at some of these. What steps can be taken to ensure you're utilizing all the available tax credits and refunds? Okay, now listen, you're not going to like my answer, okay? And I told our 6% Life people this as well. You are not going to like my answer. The answer is, if you don't already have a tax strategist, okay? I'm going to pull this up here. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to screen share with you guys here. Okay, if you don't already have a tax strategist, what you're really looking for here is, what are the credits? What are the deductions that I can get on my tax return? So let me get the screen share showing, because I'm going to show you guys exactly what I showed them. You don't need a tax strategist. Our job is just to make life easier. Okay, that's what we do. You pay us a fee. We make your life easier. We tell you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, all of those things. But I want to make sure that you guys have the information that you can get to this stuff yourself. Okay, so listen, give me 2 seconds. Let me get screen share going on here because I want to show you what's going on your personal tax return. Okay, on your personal tax return, what we have here, so I'm trying to get this shown in the best way possible. Can I do this? No, sorry guys, I'm getting too excited. So here's the deal. On your personal tax return, there is a credits section of your personal tax return. Okay, now I'm not covering business. That will take 3 hours to describe all the business credits for this particular video. But on the personal section, look at Schedule 3, okay? Do you have anything foreign? Do you own a foreign rental property? We just had somebody the other day. I was heartbroken. They came into the office and said, we were just chit-chatting, talking about their situation. And they said, oh, yeah, well, I have this rental property in London. We used to live there. I make, I don't know, about $50,000 a year. And I paused and I said, we didn't see that on your tax return. Well, what do you mean you didn't see it on my tax return? I've had it for 3 or 4 or 5 years. Yep. It was never reported, okay? And the client didn't know. We didn't find out. He's got to go back now and fix like 5 years of tax returns. It's a $10,000 per year penalty because this wasn't done right, okay? I don't want you guys running into the same problems. That would just break my heart, okay? It breaks my heart every time I hear those kinds of issues. I don't want you running into those problems. So if you're looking for some last minute 2023 tax strategies, what can I do? What can I implement here, okay? First section I want you to go look at, first thing I want you to go look at is Schedule 3 on form, it's attached to Form 1040, okay? Run down these credits. Did you adopt? Do you have a business? There might be a credit on the business side. Did you buy a plug-in motor vehicle? Okay, all those Teslas. Did you put into retirement? This one gets missed a ton. People don't know that if you put into retirement, there are credits, dollar for dollar credits that reduce your tax because you put money into retirement. People just don't know that, and it gets missed all the time, okay? So I wanted to get you guys this. Now, the other one, you're not going to like this either, okay? The other one is to read the instructions. All 113 pages of the IRS instructions, okay? I would save yourself from this sleepy time reading, okay? And I would suggest that you reach out, either join our 6% Life program, okay, or reach out to us as a tax strategist team. This is what we do, right? We go through, I think it's almost 63,000 pages of IRS code. We look for updates. We're looking for the new numbers. We're looking for the new strategies. What is going to apply to your situation? Okay, so that was the first question we asked. I want to jump to the next question, which is, what do you do if an unannounced revenue officer shows up at your office? Okay. First one, do not slam the door in their face. Okay. Be nice, be polite, offer them water, offer them coffee, but don't really give them a whole heck of a lot of information. Okay. Unless they have a subpoena. Okay. In which case you call your attorney immediately. Okay. But basically ask them what it is they need, ask them for a written list of what they need you to provide, and then ask them for an actual appointment time. So can we reschedule? I'm going to need time to pull together these documents. I can't provide them right now. They're not on site, whatever's the truth, of course. But you don't really want to just be letting a revenue officer loose in your office with your paperwork, okay? Especially not unannounced, okay? Now, one piece, and we are seeing a ton of this happening right now, is fraud, okay? We're getting people getting text messages from IRS agents. They don't do that. They don't send email. Okay, if you get an email from a revenue officer, they do not send email. That does not exist, okay? They will either call you and leave a voicemail, or they will write you written letters. Normally, it's written letters, okay? So watch for that fraud, guys, right? If you're getting a text message from an IRS agent, it is not an IRS agent, okay? It's Boris in Russia somewhere, okay? They're not an IRS agent. Okay, so do not give away information. If they have a subpoena, you call your attorney immediately. If they do not, be polite, be professional, offer them some water, and then schedule an appointment with your CPA present, with your tax attorney present, with your tax strategist, if you have one on the team present. Okay, do not just hand them a copy of your QuickBooks file. Okay, do not do that. I mean, you can, it's your choice. Your tax strategist friend here is telling you do not do that. Do not do that. Okay. And one of the other big questions, of course, that had come up here, and I thought was really such a good question: how frequently should you review your tax strategy to ensure that it aligns with current IRS guidelines and policies? Okay. Now, we do this every year as a part of what we do at Tax Goddess for our clients. We look at all the strategies. Are there any changes, anything that we need to modify? But if you are not working with Tax Goddess and you're looking at your own tax strategies, or you're working with a different tax strategy firm, you want to absolutely review the tax strategies at least once a year, minimum once a year. So my recommendation is that you meet with your CPA and your tax strategist this time of year, November, December, okay? You run end of the year calculations, discuss which strategies we're going to apply, which ones do we not want to apply or not need to apply. Maybe we've applied so many strategies already, our taxable income is already zero or super duper low, okay? So these are the kinds of discussions that you should be having. Now that tax filing season is over, October 15th, okay, these are the kinds of discussions that you want to be having here right now, November and December, October, November, December, with your tax strategist, your CPA, and of course, your lovely self, okay? So guys, I'm so sorry. I just got so excited about these questions. They were so good. I wanted to bring them to you. You guys had these answers as well. Super important to me that you guys have education. I want to bring up one more thing, and I'm going to go into detail in another video here, okay? Because at the moment, this is still a proposal. So if you've been following our channel for any length of time, when COVID came out, so I'm going to say it again, I do not talk about things in hyper detail until it leaves being a proposal and it actually becomes law, okay? Because laws change, things change all the time. Absolutely everything changes all the time, okay? What I wanted to bring to your attention was that the Department of Labor has brought, do you guys remember me talking about the 1099s a while back? Okay. The Department of Labor has released a statement, okay? They have submitted a proposal. They've created final regulations. It hasn't passed yet. Department of Labor has created final regulations regarding contractor status in the US. Now, for a lot of my business owners out there, right, W-2 versus contractor. W-2 means they're an employee. Contractor means they're a business owner, okay? So as a contractor, generally business owners want contractors. It's more flexibility for the contractor, more flexibility for you as a business owner, a better tax strategy all the way around. Can you imagine why the IRS is trying to shut that down? So the Department of Labor has come up with new regulations that's going to severely restrict the ability to have 1099 contractors on your team. These final regulations have been submitted to the White House and to the OMB, the Office of Management and Budget. The OMB has asked for 3 months to review the documentation, which means I think we're going to be hearing a lot more about the 1099 regulations and whether we as business owners will or will not be allowed to keep 1099 people, 1099 contractors on our staff unless they meet these new super hyper specific detailed 1099 contractor regulations. Okay. So as news comes out on that, you guys know, if I know, you guys know. So I will be bringing you all the information that I have on the 1099 contractor status as it changes, if it changes, what those changes are, because obviously that is super important to you as a business owner. Now, I do want to open the floor up. Okay, so I've got a couple other pieces. I'm just going to keep talking about this 1099 contractor thing here. So I'm going to open the floor up. If any of you have any questions, you should be able to just post the question below wherever you're watching this, on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn, wherever you're watching. You should be able to post a comment. If not, my team will try to answer all questions and get back to you if you're not getting through on today's presentation live here to ask a question, but I will hang out to answer questions for you guys. But yeah, big things, right? Big things are moving. And of course, here as we get closer to the end of the year, it's already October 25th. Can you imagine? I mean, I feel like everything just went by so quickly. With it being October 25th, you really only have 2 months left to plan in the 2023 tax year. So let me give you a few more of these details on the 1099 side here. So these final regulations that were sent from the Department of Labor over to the OMB and the White House, it's expected that it is going to become extremely difficult for most businesses to be able to qualify to have independent contractors in the very near future. So again, in January. Workers will have to be paid as employees. Now, what does this do to tax planning, to tax strategy? I mean, the first one is going to be adding a number of just basic level issues, right? As an employee, you now have to pay payroll taxes. There's employee benefits, right? Retirement, health. If you have a medical expense reimbursement plan, you're going to have to cover those people. You may have workplace requirements, mandatory equipment, paid overtime, statutory employee issues. Okay, there's a lot of that. It may, and I think it's really going to open up businesses to additional state nexus. Now, I know I've covered the nexus topic before, but this is a really big topic here. Okay, state nexus means if you have people, property, or income in another state, even let's say your main business and you're all online and everything is in California or Arizona or Nevada, wherever, okay, but you have one employee that lives in Washington State, you will now have, your business will now have to file a tax return for Washington State. You'll have to allocate income to Washington State, okay, to anywhere. So this is a huge issue, right? If people get converted from 1099 to W-2 employee, this is not only the day-to-day basic kind of, things, payroll taxes and employee benefits and health insurance and all these things that are going to get added. We're going to have companies that used to be filing in 1 or 2 states, now maybe filing in 30 because they have employees all over the country. During COVID, a big part of this is COVID, right? Everybody went to work remote. People moved. Do you know where your people are? Did they move out of your home state? We're hearing already from clients, yeah, we went all remote. Our staff are loving it. But now I've got people living in Idaho, Montana, Nevada, Washington, all over the country. And the business owner is going to have to file tax returns for that. Okay. Now, you may have already met the income requirements, right? If you make more than $100,000 worth of revenue in any given state, more likely than not, you're going to have to file a tax return in that state. And that's gross revenue, not net profit. That's gross revenue. So for many of you, you may already be in multiple states. But especially the instant you have W-2 employees, if this thing passes, the instant you have W-2 employees in those other states, you're looking at filing 5 returns, 10 returns, 15 returns. We've got a client right now that our firm is doing what's called a nexus study for this client. So side note, if your CPA has not done the nexus study, it's time to get on it, okay, before the end of the year, because you need to file registrations in all the different states and get ready to file all these different things, okay? If your CPA has not filed this nexus study, they need to get on the nexus study, okay? The nexus study will tell your client, we've got a client, we just picked up this client, previous CPA never asked the question, never, not once. And this guy already has W-2 employees. We're preparing a nexus study to see in which states, where are we going to have to file tax returns, okay? That may be all 50 states for this particular client. So if your CPA has not done a nexus study for you, I would highly, highly recommend that you get looking at that as quickly as humanly possible, okay? So guys, I just thank you for letting me come on today. I'm sorry for the little bit of a rant. You guys know that for me, it's a huge thing to be bringing you education. If you are looking for some baby tax strategies, the 6% Life Group is probably for you, that low-hanging fruit. If you're looking for an ongoing, personalized, custom, one-to-one kind of support, you want to reach out for our strategic tax coaching plan, reach out to the team. And listen, guys, I will keep you informed about this 1099 thing, because if it switches to W-2, we got lots of changes to make, tons of changes to make, okay? So I hope everyone has a wonderful day, wonderful evening, and thanks for being here, and let us know if you have questions. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.